Welcome to A Year of War and Peace. I'm your host, Brian E. Denton. A Year of War and Peace is a daily, year-long, chapter-by-chapter reading of and meditation on Leo Tolstoy's epic novel, War and Peace. In these videos and podcasts, you'll be treated to a free reading of one chapter per day of the novel, plus a reflective essay I've written individually tailored to that day's chapter. These readings are offered for free, though if you'd like to support me, you can do so in one of three ways. First, you could purchase my ebook, A Year of War and Peace. It features the entire novel, plus all of my reflective essays, and it's only $2.99 on Amazon.com. You could also become a patron at patreon.com/BrianEDenton. If you sign up there, you'll receive a sonnet once a month, plus a link to an ebook of my collected sonnets. Finally, if you like, you can make a one-time donation to my PayPal account. The email there is brianedenton@gmail.com. You can also use that email to contact me. I'd be happy to hear from you. Your support is greatly appreciated. Today's reading and reflection is on Chapter 76. Chapter 76. On the third day after Christmas, Nicholas dined at home, a thing he had rarely done of late. It was a grand farewell dinner, as he and Denisov were leaving to join the regiment after Epiphany. About 20 people were present, including Dolokhov and Denisov. Never had love been so much in the air, and never had the amorous atmosphere made itself so strongly felt in the Rostovs' house as it had this holiday time. Seize the moments of happiness, love, and be loved. That is the only reality in the world. All else is folly. It is the only thing we are interested in here, said the spirit of the place. Nicholas, having as usual exhausted 2 pairs of horses, without visiting all the places he meant to go, and where he had been invited, returned home just before dinner. As soon as he entered, he noticed and felt the tension of the amorous air in the house, and also noticed a curious embarrassment among some of those present. Sonia, Dolokhov, and the old countess were especially disturbed, and to a lesser degree Natasha. Nicholas understood that something must have happened between Sonia and Dolokhov before dinner, and with the kindly sensitiveness natural to him, was very gentle and wary with them both at dinner. On that same evening, there was to be one of the balls that Iogel, the dancing master, gave for his pupils during the holidays. "Nicholas, will you come to Iogel's? Please do," said Natasha. "He asked you, and Vasily Denisov is also going." "Where would I not go at the Countess's command?" said Denisov, who at the Rostovs had jocularly assumed the role of Natasha's knight. "I'm even ready to dance the pas de châle." "If I have time," answered Nicholas. "But I promised Arkarovs. They have a party." "And you?" he asked Dolokhov. But as soon as he had asked the question, he noticed that it should not have been put. "Perhaps," coldly and angrily replied Dolokhov, glancing at Sonia, and, scowling, he gave Nicholas just such a look as he had given Pierre at the club dinner. There is something up, thought Nicholas, and he was further confirmed in this conclusion by the fact that Dolokhov left immediately after dinner. He called Natasha and asked her what was the matter. "And I was looking for you," said Natasha, running out to him. "I told you, but you would not believe it," she said triumphantly. "He has proposed to Sonia." Little as Nicholas had occupied himself with Sonia of late, something seemed to give way within him at this news. Dolokhov was a suitable suitor, and in some respects a brilliant match for the dowerless orphan girl. From the point of view of the old countess and of society, it was out of the question for her to refuse him. And therefore Nicholas's first feeling on hearing the news was one of anger with Sonia. He tried to say, "That's capital. Of course she'll forget her childish promises and accept the offer." But before he had time to say it, Natasha began again. And fancy, she refused him quite definitely, adding, after a pause, she told him she loved another. "Yes, my Sonia could not have done otherwise," thought Nicholas. "Much as Mamma pressed her, she refused, and I know she won't change once she has said—" "And Mamma pressed her," said Nicholas reproachfully. "Yes," said Natasha. "Do you know, Nicholas, don't be angry, but I know you will not marry her. I know, heaven knows how, but I know for certain that you won't marry her." "Now you don't know at all," said Nicholas. "But I must talk to her. What a darling Sonia is," he added with a smile. "Ah, she is indeed a darling. I'll send her to you." And Natasha kissed her brother and ran away. A minute later, Sonia came in with a frightened, guilty, and scared look. Nicholas went up to her and kissed her hand. This was the first time since his return that they had talked alone and about their love. "Sophie," he began, timidly at first, and then more and more boldly, "if you wish to refuse one who is not only a brilliant and advantageous match, but a splendid, noble fellow, he is my friend—" Sonia interrupted him. "I have already refused," she said hurriedly. "If you are refusing for my sake, I am afraid that I—" Sonia again interrupted. She gave him an imploring, frightened look. "Nicholas, don't tell me that," she said. "No, but I must. It may be arrogant of me, but still it is best to say it. If you refuse him on my account, I must tell you the whole truth. I love you, and I think I love you more than anyone else." "That is enough for me," said Sonia, blushing. "No, but I have been in love 1,000 times, and shall fall in love again, though for no one have I had such a feeling of friendship, confidence, and love as I have for you." "Then I am young. Mamma does not want it. In a word, I make no promise. And I beg you to consider Dólokhov's offer," he said, articulating his friend's name with difficulty. "Don't say that to me. I want nothing. I love you as a brother and always shall, and I want nothing more." "You are an angel. I am not worthy of you, but I am afraid I am misleading you." And Nicholas again kissed her hand. All right, so that concludes chapter 76, at least my reading of it. Now I'll give you all my reflection on the same. A Year of War and Peace, Day 76. At home with a heart full of love and a head full of heat. The body matures much faster than the mind. That is why Mother Russia can rely on Nicholas Rostov to defend her borders, but Mother Rostov is just going to have to wait a few more years before her son is able to defend against his feelings. This is the key problem in today's chapter: Nicholas's relationship with Sonia, his emotional response to it, and its consequence for the Rostov home in general, and his well-being in particular. At the Rostov home, it's the holiday season, and all is merry. Never, we are told, had love been so much in the air, and never had the amorous atmosphere made itself so strongly felt in the Rostov's house as it had this holiday time. Things are so well, in fact, that Nicholas has, despite his commitment to avoiding his family in recent days, decided to dine at home. Which is great, because the dinner that evening is actually a farewell dinner for himself and Denisov, both of whom will soon be leaving to rejoin their regiment after Epiphany. As soon as Rostov enters the house, he feels that something is off. There's a feeling of embarrassment and disturbance in the family, particularly from Sonia, the Countess, and Dólokhov. He decides to ignore it, though, during dinner, but Natasha confronts him after the meal. She tells him that she was right. Dólokhov is in love with Sonia, so much so, in fact, that he has proposed to her this very evening. Sonia, in turn, has denied him. Nicholas's first feeling, as we've come to expect, is one of anger. He can't believe she would refuse him because he's such a brilliant match for her. This is only Nicholas's first confusion. When he speaks to Sonia about it, he gets even more mixed up. At first, he attempts to explain to her that Dólokhov is a perfect match for her. He's a good guy, he's an officer, and really, she's just a poor old orphan girl. What more could she want? Well, it's clear that what she wants is Nicholas. And Nicholas probably still wants her, because soon enough he's changing his tune. Instead of advocating for his friend, he tells Sonia that he, Nicholas, loves her. He loves her perhaps, quote, more than anyone else. But then he reverses and begs Sonia to reconsider Dólokhov's proposal. Once again, we see that Rostov's turbulent emotions disallow him the pleasures of the simple, contented life. Today he is surrounded by happiness, and yet his own disposition is one of turmoil, so he cannot enjoy it. It's true that Nicholas has grown up a little bit since we first met him, but he still has much work to do. Daily meditation. The principal element in a man's well-being, indeed, and his whole tenor of his existence, is that he is made of his inner constitution. For this is the immediate source of that inward satisfaction or dissatisfaction resulting from the sum total of his sensations, desires, and thoughts. Whilst his surroundings, on the other hand, exert only an immediate or indirect influence upon him. This is why the same external events or circumstances affect no two people alike. Even with perfectly similar surroundings, everyone lives in a world of his own. For a man has immediate apprehensions only of his own ideas, feelings, and volitions. The outer world can influence him only insofar as it brings these to life. Author Schopenhauer, The Wisdom of Life. All right, that concludes my reading and reflection on chapter 76 of War and Peace. I hope you liked it. Thanks so much for listening. Remember that if you'd like to support me, you can do so either by purchasing the ebook, A Year of War and Peace, becoming a patron at patreon.com, or making a one-time donation to PayPal. The links to all that are below. Your support is greatly appreciated. Tomorrow, we'll be reading chapter 76 and reflecting on the same. I hope you'll join me. Until then, take care of yourselves and others.